Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host Brian. Today I'm talking Got to Get Out. This is a new show on Hulu that dropped the entire season last week. It had 8 episodes, dropped all 8 all at once. And frankly, I will say this: I don't know if this would have changed my outcome and opinion on the show because this is going to be a rendition of the First Impression Bros, where we watch the show for the first time, give you our honest feedback and takes on whether you should watch this show or not. And just like the last couple I've done, this show, man, I did not enjoy the show. I really did not. And I'll tell you what, it was not because of the cast. We had 20 people. We had a mix of celebrities and not even celebrities, I would say that, like reality TV stars, um, I guess a few celebrities and civilians. So kind of like the first season of Traders. And it was hosted by Simu Liu. He is the dude from my God, Marvel movie with the Shang-Chi and the Nine Rings or whatever it is. But let me tell you, he was the host. Okay, so he never had any interaction with the cast. And I don't know if anybody's seen The Outer Banks on Netflix. And this is not a reality TV show, this is just a show. I felt like I was getting narrated by John B the entire show, and I didn't like it. Nothing against the guy. The movies I've seen that he's been in, I'm fine with them, but like I just did not think he was a good host. And these narration hosts, I don't always think are that fun. Where I think I like some of the when the host comes on, they have like interaction with the cast, even if it was just like video calls or something like that. There was no interaction at all. Everything was delivered through like this ticker machine, where it was like a type on like little strands of paper, whether you got advantages or not, or when you could open windows. And I'll get to the premise of the show, but I just think it, like stuff was going on, but I didn't find it that interesting. I almost felt like it was too hard to get out. Like it needed to be a little tiny bit easier. Maybe if it was like 5 to 10% easier. And I just think that they did things where, I mean, also the people running were also kind of making bad decisions as well. But I'm not gonna go play by play of the entire episode, but I will like run over like so the premise of the show is like the money is ticking up constantly on screen. I don't know if it was screens all over the house, but like in areas, and it was like each second I think it would go up like $1. They were there for 10 days. I'm sure it was quicker than the second, but because it had to get to 1 million. But you once you left, you could take the money, whatever the value was, when you I think hit. I don't know if it was when you left the house or when you made it through the gate. So the gate you had to get down. I'll put a map up. I'm sure there's a map I'll find on the internet of like you had to run down this like the long ass driveway and get out through the gate. And if you made it out, you got your money. And you can do it by yourself. You can do it with other people. And the way it worked is that there was one group that got out, one guy got out, and he was working with somebody else, and he ended up splitting the money with that person, and they left the house, which is kind of cool. Um, it's happened like episode 4. I think it was episode 4. Uh, yeah, episode 4. In this episode, this was 8 episodes. No one else got out, and I don't mean to spoil it here, but it was kind of boring. It was just a little boring. I couldn't wait for the show to be over, to be honest with you. Luckily, these episodes were no longer than 45 minutes each. So it had saving grace there. I just think if they're going to do this again, which I don't think they will, they need to change some things. They really need to change some things because just maybe 20 is too many people. I don't know. Well, let me know what you think. What do you think of the show? I was trying to find like some discourse of like what people thought of the show, and I couldn't find anything like where it's just like so neutral about like show. No one really had any like super hard takes, at least from my like limited research. But let me run through the cast because you would think that I didn't have. That's one thing I didn't have a problem with. I didn't actually have a problem with the cast. And usually that's like one of the main things that when I'm watching a show that the people I can't stand, like when I was doing the one for Extracted, I just can't stand half of the cast. But like I didn't hate the cast here. They did a lot of weird, in my mind, very foolish things, but I still found them to like be. I wasn't like actively rooting against somebody and like, actively hating somebody. So I'll pop the picture up here. Credit to our friends at Reality TV News slash updates on Twitter and Instagram. They always post some great stuff, whether it be like news about shows and like when shows are coming out, but also like graphics of all the cast members. Always love them, appreciate them, whoever you are. Salute to you. Um, all right, so first off, we had some of the celebrities. We had Omarosa. So we've seen Omarosa obviously in old shows, but most recently on House of Villains. I thought she was way more of a character on that show. Like to me, she was kind of boring on this show. Like I was kind of expecting a lot more from her, like more just kind of cutthroaty and frankly just what I saw on House of Villains, where she was like beefing in New York. And I wonder if that maybe she just wasn't actively beefing with somebody that we didn't really get to see that side. But I mean, she kind of let me down a little bit. Honestly, I was expecting a little more for it. Spencer from the Hills. I didn't watch the Hills. I know who he is, obviously, but this guy likes crystals, so immediately to me, that's just like a big hard no for me. But he had some like entertaining moments, I guess. But I mean, again, you would just think I was just expecting a little bit more from some of these people that I think they cast as heavy hitters. Cynthia, she is from Real Housewives. I think she's from Atlanta. She was on one of the seasons I think we did of another First Impression Bros where it was like the Ultimate Girls Trip or something like that, like years ago. And she was one of the people that got out and part of the team. So I mean, kudos for her to her. Um, little inch like she had some moments as well, like the confessional also confessional layout I thought was weird. They almost like fish bowled them or fish eye, whatever, or fish lens. I don't know what the term is, but like they're the confessionals I didn't think were that like good. They were like almost like talking to the screen, like they were like this when they were talking to the screen. Like it was like this close. It was never like where I'm sitting at right now. You can kind of see them in like other shows you watch. I felt like the confessionals are in like a closet and it was like super tight spaces and like an angle. I just one of the minor nitpicking of things that I just didn't really like, and it's because just we watch so much TV. I'm sure other people don't even notice it, don't even care about it, but we just watch so much here that I just one thing I really noticed, and I was like, don't know how I feel about that. Kim, I'm pretty sure her last name is Jesus, man. I'm a Falcons fan. I can't remember what that dude's name is that she's married to. It's not Brooking. Um, damn it. I can't believe I can't remember, but she is from Housewives as well. Housewives of Atlanta, because obviously he played for the Falcons. Why can't I remember this dude's name? That's gonna bug me. It's gonna really bug me. I should know this. I should know this a lot because as a football player, he kind of pissed me off sometimes, so I should know his name. But um, we saw her last on a show we covered, and it was The Surreal Life. Uh, she was fine. She had some moments where she had some funny lines and things like that. But again, like just like I just expected a lot more from the reality TV personalities, and I just none of them really nailed for me. Val from Dancing with the Stars, I don't watch that show, so to me, he was just a civilian. When I was watching the show, I'm sure people know him, but like anytime he's on screen, I thought he was a civilian. Like yeah, that show means nothing to me. So Demi from Bachelor in Paradise, not what I remembered from when she was on Bachelor in Paradise. I thought she was kind of like a villain when we watched her on her last season. So she was there again, no big deal. Claire. So Claire was on Bachelor as well. She was on actually we covered the retro review of the Juan Pablo season. And I'll tell you what, man, she disappointed the hell out of me because she was actually playing the game, I think, in the beginning, but she left early. Her and another girl left early, and I'm sorry, that's lame. Like I need to leave. Well, you just stay. You're making money. Like I thought, yeah, I just super lame. And I'll just go right to her. Jill from Outlast didn't watch Outlast, but she left early too. I was like, the soft is just soft, super soft in my opinion. The situation you're in was you didn't even have to do anything. That's the thing that also pissed me off about the show. I know I'm bouncing around. At the end of the show, like everybody made money. I just think that's dumb. Like people need to leave to make money, and like you just stuck around and you made money. I just thought that was weak as shit. Susan. So Susan was from Golden Bachelor. I like her. She probably had some of the worst gameplay moves of the entire show, and some actually very funny moments where I actually laughed out loud. Where there you would get these messages and they'd be like, "Oh, this window is going to open at a certain between the dollar amounts on the tracker." And it would be open for like this window to this window, and like she like set up a team with two other guys, and she fell asleep through her thing. So she did make it. Just she had a lot of blunders. She had a lot of blunders, and more of a potty mouth than I thought. I will say that more of a potty mouth than I thought. Steven, he's from Big Brother Canada. Again, thought he was a civilian. Don't watch Big Brother, so didn't know that guy at all. So then I think we start making it into Rob. I didn't know this guy was on Squid Game, and I watched Squid Game. He, I really thought he was a civilian. I really did, and He was one of the first ones to get a challenge where he could escape and tried it, and they had like four cars laid out in the driveway, and you could like use those in the first episode to get out, and like of course all of them just rev the engine like dopes. And I've never driven those cars, so I don't know if that's actually how they start up. I don't really care about cars at all. I have no interest in them, but I would think it didn't need to rev up like that every single time you'd start the car. I could be totally wrong. I just don't know enough about cars to know, but every one of them said, I don't know how to drive this car. So apparently there's other elements of what they need to do. Maybe like not rev it. I don't know. And if anybody knows, put it in the comments. Again, I don't, I know I'm a dude. I just don't care about cars. I think they're big money pits. Um, so did not know that he was I guess a billionaire and, or a famous person. Here's another person I didn't. We also had we had two women on the show named Athena. What are the odds of that? What are the actual odds of that? I was very surprised about it. So with Athena V. So I was under the impression that she told us that she was like she worked for like the Department of Education or something like that, or like she develops like curricular for students, and she's from Bachelor Greece. Didn't know that. Don't even think they mentioned it in the show at all. So even in her confessionals, I don't even think she mentioned it. I could be totally wrong, but I don't think they did. She had like a fling with one of the civilian guys that I just didn't believe at all. But it makes sense now that she was on The Bachelor. Like it makes a lot more sense. I thought she was just a civilian, like getting with another civilian. So they just hooked up. But then we have Rashad Jennings. I knew I thought it was one of I thought it was who he was, but I didn't want to Google it because I didn't want to spoil the show. And he had a couple. I mean, he's a running back. He's played for the Giants. I'm sure he played for other teams too, but I obviously remember from him from that. And he was when he did an attempt to run and he took his shirt off and he was running and like I think Omarosa was like really drooling over him. I thought that was a funny moment, but it was very telling to see the people that could actually run, and he was one of the dudes that like put he was booking it, and it was cool to see. He didn't get out either, but um, I think her name is Yan. I think it's Yanni. I think her name Yane maybe. I think it's Yane actually. She was a social media influencer, I think she was. Again, I think she's a civilian. I didn't know who she was. I feel like I didn't really see her that much. She had an alliance with Rashad. I don't remember seeing her. Lindsay, we have Lindsay with the ghillie suit. Um, this one I thought the show kind of was like kind of bogus, where we hadn't seen her for episodes. I'm talking episodes. I forgot she was even in the house, and she ran out one night and ran out in a ghillie suit, and I just didn't know the rules because like everybody ran down the driveway, and it's like if you were, why do you need to run like right on the driveway? But again, I'm sure there were rules that they had to actually book it down the driveway to get out. But yeah, she had a ghillie suit on. Tried to get out with the ghillie suit, obviously didn't get there. Um, Interesting tactic. Then we had Steve. So Steve was a dude who said he used to work for a magazine. I don't remember what it was, but he was like a beat writer for reality TV, so he knew a lot of these people. Um, he was one of the first guys to actually try to leave, and he like messed up the car repping. And ever since then, nobody liked him. Like he was like the black sheep of the house. Like nobody wanted to work with him, and like he was playing the game. There was one time where like you could escape in recycling. Uh, not even I wouldn't. It's like a trash can, but they were like recycling, and like I thought it was kind of corny that like the trash people came to like take him and they like really lingered. And like I was like, there's no way he's making it out. Like it wouldn't actually be, I think it would have been really cool if he made it out there. But like they just were lingering too long and like other people were already out of the house too. And it seemed very set up and fake to me. But uh he was actually the one of the dudes actually playing the game. Like he was making up the advantages. Like he was making up stuff. Like you could there was a couple of things where if you like ran a microwave at a certain time it would like stall one of the alarms on like the crow's nest to alert people so then they had to run down a little bit and yell and not just immediately hit an alarm and like people down there would know. And he was making up stuff like a button that closed the gate. He could like freeze that, and that was never a thing, but he said it multiple times. Um, Shane, I think he was an MMA fighter. He was, I guess, like was interested in Lindsay. We barely saw him till the end, so not a lot going on. So Stein was the dude that made it out. He was the runner. He was the one dude that actually made the journey to the gate. Got to give him respect. He was probably the MVP of the show. Couldn't tell you a lot about him because all I know about him is they did make it out, but he was gone by episode four, and kudos to him. I think they won $156,000 each. He split it with Cynthia, and good on him. I mean, I'm glad. So this show would have really stunk if nobody made it out, and they all ended up splitting the money at the end. Then we had Nick. So Nick went by Doodles, but his obviously his real name was Nick. He designed like board games, or I don't know if he did like board games or like mobile app games. I think it might be mobile app. Um, his like flex to Athena was what the blonde Athena was. I made Jumanji too. Never played that in my life. Didn't know there was a second one. And he was really playing the game. So I do appreciate him like going in alliances, trying to get out. He was doing everything he could, wearing costumes. Like he was one of the dudes that was actually playing the game. So I kind of respect that. Um, and then we had Athena S. So we had saw a lot of her in the beginning when I think like Steve was trying to make alliances, I think. But again, I just cannot believe that two people on a reality TV show both named Athena. I thought that was kind of crazy. I was like, I just yeah, also they just didn't do a good job. I think of they just threw these people at us. They didn't really like give like backstory. Obviously, like people but like again, I'm looking at this like picture graph, which I already put up for the first time here to remember the people, and like I didn't know she was on Bachelor, didn't know that he was on Squid Games, no clue. But she was just there. There were a lot of like background characters and things like that, but they just I don't know. I just don't even think like doing this in drops would have been good. I really don't. I just think this is not a good show. And if you disagree with me, let me know. I just didn't think it was that compelling. I didn't think it was that interesting. I felt people were just doing things to do it. I wish like maybe it would have liked a little more people got out and things like that. But I don't know. I just people quit early and it's like you're not even in a tough situation and you just stay and you automatically win money. I think that what kind of sucked is like if you made it that far, if they knew that if you made it to the end that you didn't win money, I think it would have been more incentive for people to be in alliances and actually try to get out. And I think that that might have hurt the show. I'm looking at my notes right now. Episode seven is like Lindsay. That's the first time I really even had a confession. Like, just it's crazy. It's crazy that like we were really at the end of the season and we met Lindsay like for real. I don't know. I mean, there's like one thing they had to spin on a hamster wheel, but it was just like I thought it was gonna be something where it's like they only had to do it for I think they should have had to do it like for a whole day. Like they did work in shifts where like people were walking on that wheel. And once if somebody stopped, it like stopped the counter. Like, I just think they could have made these people work a little harder. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I just thought it was a pretty not good show. I yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying not to be super negative. I don't want to be that guy on the internet where it's like, oh, there's this loser again. It's a shit on every show he watches. But I just didn't think it was that good of a show. And I just like to know what other people think because I didn't see a ton of talking. That makes me think. Obviously, that makes me think that not that good of a show. When we're not getting a lot of buzz and things like that. But even when I went on the Reddit page and the other day when I was watching it, and I just didn't think that there was like it was just kind of like, oh, what would you do to get out? It wasn't any like this show stinks or like, oh, I really like just none of that. It just I don't know. Maybe that's why they dropped all of it once. Like they knew it wasn't that good of a show. It's things you wonder about. But I appreciate everyone for watching. Again, if you have any new shows or you hear any new shows that obviously we are not covering, put them in the comments below. I will definitely check it out, give it a watch. Things like that. We have a ton of shows going on right now. One of the big ones we got going on, Million Dollar Secret was on Netflix. We finished that, covered that. But we've been interviewing the cast. Still working on, I think, 4 or 5 people left. I think maybe four, five. I think there's 5 people left that we still need to interview. I reached out to all of them, waiting on responses for some of them, working on setting up some other ones. So that's going to be like, we're going to get all the Infinity Stones in the gauntlet for that show, where we're going to have everybody on this show at some point. So That's one of the goals we got going on right now. We didn't have Survivor tonight, but we'll have Survivor tomorrow. Amazing Race, newest episode of that. Summer House, The Valley. We did a video for that. That should be the next one after this. I'm doing Love and Hip Hops. I think that's it right now until we are going to cover that new show on Netflix. I don't even know what it's called, but it's like a competition show. We'll be checking that out, and we cover as many things as we possibly can. So appreciate everyone for watching. If you didn't like the show and you agree with me, put a comment below. If you don't, drop something in there. I did watch everything, so I'll be glad to talk about it in any of your comments. So hope you guys have an awesome rest of your evening, morning, or afternoon whenever you're watching this, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.